introduce Katie Bernabei. She is a history major. I think I had her maybe her first or second semester, and she still had, or she had that very infectious smile back then, and evidently we have not done enough to wipe that off. She is also a Latin double major with a humanities minor. She currently serves as chair of the World Relief Campaign for Valparaiso University Social Action and Leadership Team. That's the SALT that all of you are familiar with, except some of you who are visiting who aren't. And was selected for a 2015 CAPS Fellow. Her presentation is entitled Walking with Others, Case Studies of the Accompaniment Model. Please.
As the global world has emerged, the field of humanitarianism has grown and expanded in order to help all the various issues present in the world. Each humanitarian organization has a certain philosophy as to why they are doing their work and how their work should be accomplished. But many faith-based organizations use a similar method, which is given a good introduction for it is given in William Easterly's book, The White Man's Burden. So in this book, Easterly, who is a professor of economics at New York University and the co-director of the NYU Development Research Institute, gives a metaphor for this idea of accompaniment. He calls the advocates of the traditional approach the planners, and the agents for change in the alternative approach the searchers. The planners are the ones who plan and have no way to figure out exactly what is needed, how it should be implemented, or if it is actually being implemented. They have the big picture, and they think that they have all the answers. Meanwhile, the searchers believe that they do not have all the answers. Instead, it is only the insiders who have the information, and that solutions must be homegrown. Searchers are local and focused on tasks. Planners are global and large task-oriented. The planners are the ones who have achieved the most success, even though they have not always been successful. While Easterly does not explicitly state this in this section of the book, a middle path in between these two is the accompaniment model. With the accompaniment model, organizations walk alongside the populations they are serving. Both the population and the organization work together to form a solution. It is a model that is based in theology, and for that reason, this paper will examine how different Christian denominations use the accompaniment model, specifically focusing on the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, or the ELCA, and the Catholic Church. Before delving into the work that each church is doing, we must first define accompaniment in the field of humanitarian work. While accompaniment has been a large part of liberation theology for many years, one of the first organizations to use this model is Partners in Health, led by Paul Farmer. Farmer is an American anthropologist and physician who is most well known for his work in providing developing countries with suitable health care. Partners in Health, or PIH, is a health organization that strives to bring good medical care as well as long-term care to developing nations or poor areas of the world. Farmer's accompaniment model is described in his address to the Harvard Kennedy School of Government. In this address, he states, and I'll just kind of summarize this one quote a little bit. To accompany someone is to go somewhere with him or her, to break bread together, to be present on a journey with a beginning and an end. I'll go with you and support you on a journey wherever it leads. I'll keep you company and share your fate for a while. Accompaniment is much more about sticking with a task until it's deemed completed by the person or people being accompanied, rather than the accompaniment, which is their term for the person who is accompanying. Accompaniment is not just helping and serving others, but actively being with someone else and sharing with them their joys and sorrows. It is first and foremost about sharing and solidarity. In the same speech, Farmer states, true accompaniment does not privilege technical expertise about solidarity or compassion, or a willingness to tackle what may seem to be insuperable challenges, because it requires cooperation, openness, and teamwork, since much more can be accomplished looking forward with an open source view of the world. There's no sense of hierarchy, just working together with one another. The ELCA also takes a stance of accompaniment in their global work. In 1995, the Division for Global Mission, or DGM, of the ELCA called for a reevaluation of DGM's participation in Latin America. What resulted was the document Mission Strategy for Latin America. The key part of this document was the concept of pastoral accompaniment. This is understood as walking together in a solidarity that practices interdependence and mutuality. The basis for this accompaniment, or what the New Testament calls koinonia, is found in the God-human relationship in which God accompanies accompanies us in Jesus Christ through the Holy Spirit. The ELCA, in order to follow this thinking, has felt called, along with Latin American churches, to number one, affirm the diversity of viewpoints that exist among their sister churches. Two, encourage their churches to question and analyze among themselves the priorities and practices of their churches. Three, be transparent and engaged in honest and sincere dialogue. Four, move beyond the traditional relationships of the past. Five, involve the churches and agencies affected by a decision in the decision-making processes. And six, acknowledge that the churches in both the South and the North will be in solidarity with one another in their weaknesses, struggles, and mission. So this is the basis for their work in Latin America, and through examining Lutheran World Belief, or LWR, we're just going to see if this theory kind of applies in practice. And before I start talking, I just also want to say LWR isn't necessarily an ELCA organization, but it's pan-Lutheran, like Valpo is, so I'm just kind of applying it there. So LWR is an organization that affirms God's love for all people as they work with Lutherans and partners around the world to end poverty, injustice, and human suffering. One of their values for achieving this mission is accompaniment. They endeavor to walk and work with partners and engage in critical and self-critical reflection, develop cultural competency while supporting, encouraging, and learning together within long-term relationships of trust and reciprocity. LWR works to use both their expertise and the expertise of those they are serving in order to create the best possible program. One of these programs is the Resilience Plus Community-Led Food Crisis Recovery in the Sahel. This program is located in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. This program was implemented to help boost agriculture and livestock production following droughts and food crises. Within it, LWR worked with the local population by asking them what they most wanted to grow, and then helped the farmers grow the cereals that were most important to them. The effects were mainly all positive. The volume of cereals generally increased or stayed the same. You can kind of see up here. This is from their annual report on this. Additionally, LWR and the people learned what to do and what not to do. Part of this project involved selling the cereals and selling livestock. And there were some areas where this was not successful, which is, I think, this chart. You can kind of see some of it. But instead of giving up, both LWR and the people worked together to create a new strategy in order to become successful sellers. LWR, like the ELCA, asked people to question the program, be transparent, create new relationships, and be in solidarity with one another. And then, in a similar vein, the Catholic Church kind of has the same theology as well. So in the Evangelii Gaudium, written by Pope Francis outlines the concept of personal accompaniment. This is very similar to the ELCA's version. He states that we need to practice the art of listening, which is more than just simply hearing. Listening and communication is an openness of the heart, which makes possible that closeness without which genuine spiritual encounter cannot occur. He also states that someone good at accompaniment invites others to let themselves be healed, to take up their mat, embrace the cross, leave all behind, and go forth ever anew to proclaim the gospel. Our personal experience of being accompanied and assisted, and of openness to those who accompany us, will teach us to be patient and compassionate with others, and to find the right way to gain their trust, their openness, and their readiness to grow. What Pope Francis is saying here is that since we have all been accompanied at some point in our lives, it is easier to accompany others and know how to walk alongside them and help them grow, as we are open to being accompanied as well. One organization that uses this philosophy is Catholic Relief Services, or CRS. This organization carries out the commitment of the bishops of the United States to assist the poor and vulnerable overseas. They are motivated by the gospel of Jesus Christ to cherish, preserve, and uphold the sacredness and dignity of all human life, foster charity and justice, and embody Catholic social and moral teaching. In order to pursue this mission, CRS looks at how to let each person aid themselves, while also giving aid to the person so that they can create their own skills. They do this by increasing resiliency through protecting, helping both family and community, human, social, political, physical, financial, natural, and spiritual assets, promoting right relationships within communities, and increasing equitable and inclusive access to and influence on structures and systems at all levels. In other words, CRS is about walking with the people they are helping by not dictating what they're doing in the person's lives, but by accompanying. One project in which CRS follows this model is Feed the Future Zambia Model Project. This project seeks to improve food and economic security, provide skills to farmers, experiment with new methods, provide nutrition assessment, counseling, and support. Carolyn Wu, President and CEO of CRS, said in a testimony to the House Subcommittee on Africa Global Health, Global Human Rights, and International Organizations Committee on Foreign Affairs on October 7, 2015, that this project helps smallholder families prosper by finding the balance between harnessing agriculture for consumption and for income through engagement with markets. In order to do this, the farmers are taught skills through community groups, they obtain loans, and work alongside farmers from AWA in order to learn. While in this, there does not seem to be as much input from the community, CRS is still walking alongside those they are helping and not just completely dominating the program. In conclusion, in looking at these two denominations and two organizations that are associated with them, we have found that these organizations do pretty much match up with theology of the denomination that they're associated with. The ELCA model of accompaniment involves much more sharing of ideas in this certain case study, but both the ELCA and the Catholic Church endeavor to walk alongside those they are serving, and LWR and CRS attempt to do that and have been successful in their work thus far.